That is hilarious.
All right. Welcome, viewers, listeners, and homebodies to Radio Big Sky's Pivot, Episode 5, Take 2, where we feature local peeps and their stories of change, inspiration, courage, and more. Check us out on Instagram at Radio Big Sky for upcoming guests and shows. Everyone has a story, and it must be told. I'd like to welcome the unofficial mayor and great friend and supporter of mine, Mr. Kevin Germain. Welcome, Kevin. Hope your day is great. It is beautiful out. I'm sorry I'm keeping you from inside. Let's start off on how you define your current workspace.
Oh, Mr. Harder, thank you, first of all, for having me on your show. I'm not sure about the title unofficial mayor, but I'm just somebody that is very thankful to be part of this community. And so anyway, let's get it. What was your question? Sorry.
How would you define your current workspace? What are the hats you wear? I know workspace now might be different. You can either focus on that, or you can move 180 and tell us about 6 weeks ago where you were. Your choice.
Yeah, no, workspace. So physical workspace, like most people transition to a home office.
Yep.
Been fairly seamless. No issues on my end. I would say it comes with some unique challenges that I didn't have 30 days ago, but also some unique opportunities. So physically working at home, mentally probably headspace has been, I definitely still have a day job I got to focus on, but there's been a lot of community issues that, we've had to transition to and work on, working on the resort tax, just trying to figure out how we can help Big Sky get through the pandemic. Not just get through it, but now how can we come out on the other side firing?
Yeah,
so physically, I'm at home. Mentally, trying to take care of my day job, but also trying to, spending a lot of time trying to figure out and work on, not just figure out, but take actions on how to help Big Sky right now.
How about your family? How has this changed in the last 5 weeks?
Well, so we have, I've got 3 kids. Aiden, who's 13, Riley, who's 17, and Liam, who's 19. You're living it every day. You've got one of my kids in your class. The online transition with the younger two. My 19-year-old was home on spring break when the wheels fell off the world, and thank gosh he was here. And so he's here. He's doing online schooling. It's first of all, hats off to you and your fellow teachers and the administration. The fact that what did we miss? 48 hours, and we had kids going to school online. I talked to my sister last week. Her daughter, who is a junior in high school, 4 weeks out of school. They were just starting this week with online. So thanks to you guys.
Thank you. A lot of it was a huge group effort. And some foreshadowing, I guess you could say, or looking into the future a bit. But there are people I know that schools either gave up and just shut down, or they're just starting to figure it out. So I appreciate that.
Well, talking like I said, talking to my sister, I can't tell you how important it has been that you guys did this so quickly. I mean, yeah, online schooling, it's different and it's taken some adjustments, but imagine having, Elijah at home right now with nothing to do for 30 days. Yeah. And so that's what's happened elsewhere in the country, and you guys kicked ass. So that's awesome.
Speaking of that, who's been the one that you've are least how do I say it? Who's the one who's been the most pain in the ass since you guys have been sheltered up?
Oh, wow. They're really good about taking turns. So they all have their moments, and I'm sure I do too. But yeah, no, they all take their turns. At the moment, I'll give it to my 19-year-old. But yeah, they take their turns. It's one of the interesting things, Jeremy, is I've had to really step back and try to look at life through their eyes. The first probably 15 days I was pretty dense, and it was just kind of, you got to deal with it. But when you really look at it through your kids' eyes, this is crazy times. And how can when you have juniors and seniors in high school missing their prom, when you have seniors that aren't going to graduate. And so I've really had to take a step back and say, put myself in their shoes and really have quite a bit of empathy with them, which it's been interesting. And, our kids are awesome. They're tough. They'll get through this. But yeah, it's been really interesting to try to look at it through their eyes.
I'm going to throw a word at you. You and I, wear many hats in this community. I think we do it for the same reason, which we have this, in ground somewhere. We learned that giving back to your community is one of the most important things besides your family and stuff. So walk us through a couple of the hats you wear and, what influence they've had on you.
Yeah. Big Sky is pretty darn unique. And what I mean by that is, your viewers, most of them live here or they're familiar with it. We're unincorporated. You can't fall back on your mayor and your town council to get stuff done for you.
Right.
And to me, it has been awesome to see when there's a problem, people roll up their sleeves and they jump in and they get it done.
Yeah.
And I'm always continually impressed with, no matter what issue arises in Big Sky, there's a group of concerned citizens that will put their brain power, their financial resources to solve that problem. And so through that lens or through that viewpoint, some of the boards that I've worked on, was a founding member of the Park District, been a member of the chamber, and now been on the resort tax board for the last 4 years. And through all those roles, and I think there's a few I'm forgetting,
yeah.
It's just citizens getting stuff done, and it's awesome. It's great to see.
I feel like Big Sky, if there was a tagline when you entered, from the stoplight, Big Sky gets it done. Something on those lines, welcome to Big Sky, we get her done.
I agree. It's people just they really care about this community, and they will put their time and resources to helping it out. And of course, the last 30 days is, that's a spotlight on how awesome this community is.
In light of that, I'm going to give you a word. It's called pivot. It's the name of the show. Define pivot for us.
Okay, so pivot, I would, I'm sure this isn't the Webster's definition, but I would think of it as, you come up against an obstacle, you need to get around it, over it, however, so you got to pivot.
Cool. I haven't heard that one before. It's funny because this is my 5th pivot show, and all 5 of you have given a different, similar but different definition. This is by far, obviously because I'm with you today, my favorite. Let's look at some times or pivots in your life where you've come up against an obstacle, you moved mechanically, emotionally, and made a pivot in your life.
Okay. So I could think of 3 noticeable pivots in my life. And right now I'm living the 3rd one. So more to come. You'll have to interview me in 6 months or a year, and I'll let you know how exactly it turned out. But the first 2 was I was a sophomore in college at the University of Idaho in northern Idaho. I grew up in southern Idaho, was going to school there, and for an 18 or 19-year-old, it was not the healthiest environment for me. It was, there wasn't much to do there outside of the bar scene. And so I transferred to MSU on a national student exchange. Sight unseen, never been to Bozeman. I just heard there was good fly fishing. And so was planning on going to MSU for a semester on this exchange. And what's it been? It's 29 years later. It's turned out all right. So it was a great, solid move. Fell in love with Montana and the lifestyle, and never looked back. Second pivot in my life was, during the Great Recession. Most of your viewers know Moonlight went bankrupt. I had the opportunity, I'm not going to call it the pleasure, of working for Lehman Brothers. It's when you think of, a global economy, to think of, little old Montana. I was working for Lehman Brothers there for a couple of years, and that time there was a lot of uncertainty and a lot of concern. And we ended up getting purchased by Cross Harbor, and thankfully Sam Byrne and Matt Kidd have been great stewards, and that ended up to be a great positive change, even though there was a tremendous amount of uncertainty going through it. And as I mentioned at the beginning, I feel like this is the third pivot. People say, when are we going to get back to normal? As far as I can tell, we're not going to get back to normal. It's going to be a new normal. And I'm spending a lot of time making sure that I don't miss any opportunities that this presents. And I think what I've read, there's a couple of sayings I've read in the last few weeks, but one of them was, and both Japanese and Chinese, the word crisis is two symbols. It's danger and opportunity.
Cool.
And then Winston Churchill, I think, made the statement that, never let a good crisis pass without taking advantage of the opportunities. Exactly. And so I'm spending a lot of time thinking about that right now, and really trying to see what are the opportunities. And I'd say personally right now, the biggest opportunity this recent pivot has presented was my family. I can look back and, some of my character strengths are also flaws. I feel like I'm a hard worker, but I probably work too much.
Yep.
And when I'm at home with my family, I'm thinking about work and not present. And I will tell you, the last 30 days has really forced you to slow down, live in the moment,
yep,
take advantage of that.
I completely agree with you. That's exactly how I feel.
Yeah. So there's opportunities right now, and I'm trying not to let them pass. You know my family well, Mr. Harder, but having my oldest Liam home, when he left for college, I thought I would get him home for maybe a week at a time for the rest of his life. Well, I have had him here for 30 days. He may not be as happy as I am, but I'm loving it. I'm having a blast with him. And, from watching TV shows with him at night to cross-country skiing, this has been a real blessing for us.
Yep. Speaking of opportunities, we're going to shift our gears into what we call rapid fire. And these are questions you've never seen, never heard of. It's right off the cusp from my co-host, Miss Heather Morris. Here we go. You ready?
I'm ready.
What is one piece of advice that you wish people would listen to?
This too shall pass. Keep your heads up. This is going to pass.
What song do you sing in the shower?
Oh, I'm not a shower singer. I can't stand my own voice when I sing. I listen to hip hop and reggae.
Perfect. Favorite
country.
Favorite candy or snack that your wife doesn't know you secretly sneak?
Well, she knows I sneak these, but probably not to the magnitude double stuffed Oreos.
Okay. Would you rather drive the Canyon or Jack Creek?
Not even a question. Jack Creek Road, any day of the week.
What's your favorite animal to harvest?
Oh, absolutely Wapiti.
Favorite river in Montana?
The Madison.
Best dog you've ever had?
Ooh, Biggie, but my pup Snoop is catching up.
Would you rather watch a sunset or a sunrise?
Sunset, only because I'm not a morning person.
Okay, me too. If you could teleport yourself for 24 hours, where would you go?
Well, it's a beautiful day today, but 2 days ago, I would have said anywhere warm and tropical where I could be in knee-deep water bone fishing.
Yeah, this week has been a little tough, especially Monday morning, waking up to snow and craziness. She shouldn't have asked this, but who's your favorite Camp Moonlight director?
God, no brainer. Mr. Harder. Mr. Harder is Camp Moonlight.
All right. One thing you learned from Lee Poole that has had the greatest impact on your life?
Lee was my hero and my mentor, and he taught me a lot of things. I'd say the one thing that has always resonated with me is Lee taught me that you can do good and you can do good at the same time. And what I mean by that is you can listen to the land, be good by the environment, and still do well financially. And I take that lesson to heart.
One thing in Big Sky that everyone loves that you loathe?
Well, two days ago, I would have said winter, but it's spring right now.
Okay.
So this was a long winter. I'm ready for spring.
3 things people should have in their packs heading into the backcountry.
Well, you've been hunting with me, so you see I carry a big pack.
Yes, you do.
But I only have 3 things. Okay, I'm going to take for granted I can get water because there's streams everywhere. I would have fire starter. I would have a tarp for shelter, and I would have my mug with my instant coffee in there for my creature comforts.
Okay. You seem like the kind of guy who would throw some oatmeal in there too.
Yeah, there's in that same mug. I have two instant oatmeals and about 4 or 5 instant coffees. If I get stuck out overnight, I want to have my creature comforts.
I think I know the answer to this, but maybe our audience doesn't. Winter, spring, summer, or fall?
Oh, no doubt, fall. Less people, great weather, good fishing, and bow hunting.
What song or artist do you never get sick of?
Slightly stupid.
Cool.
That's been my latest. Yeah.
Yeah, a couple of my students in my junior class have gotten me into them. I went through this little reggae phase back in high school with Bob Marley and stuff, but I hadn't really listened to any new sort of, I don't know if it's even considered reggae, but it feels reggae-ish.
They've got both reggae, a little bit of, I don't know. They've got some reggae songs. I don't even know how.
Yeah, I don't know what the genre is. I'm not sure. All right, last one. Who is your favorite person in your isolation spot?
Oh, my wife.
Good answer.
Yeah, no, she's been a great partner the last 30 days, and I just think, it's been, yeah, definitely my wife.
Awesome. Just starting this week, we've got a new thing called You Get to Ask Me One Question. Go.
What silver linings do you see with what's going on with COVID, Jeremy? What have you? Yeah.
We try to focus on that like the first or second week going into this thing. And I think the biggest one I see is that Elijah, who's 10, is become more independent than I've ever seen him before. He'll wake up, make his bed. Some days he'll get ready for his schoolwork. He's cleared out a space on his desk. His desk used to be covered in fly tying gear and papers and magazines and all kinds of riffraff. And he cleared that away. He's going outside, building jumps like with his bike. Shit we used to do when we were a kid. Without devices. As soon as he's done with his class, which he's doing with integrity, he's outside playing with the neighborhood kids, 6 feet apart, of course. The jump is now almost getting 6 feet high, so I'm getting a little nervous as I watch them right now ride as fast as they can down the road. But independence of a 10-year-old and watching that come to fruition, Kristen and I both are like, wow, he still has his moments like we all do, usually in the morning like me, but he has really gotten after doing his work and going outside and getting away from it, and it's been really cool to see.
That's awesome.
Though,
I love hearing the good stories right now, and there's a lot of them out there.
I said that was the last question, but before we leave, in recent events, how do you see Big Sky rebounding, and what role do you play in this?
How do I see Big Sky rebounding? I mentioned earlier, this too shall pass. I do know that Big Sky will come out of this stronger than ever. I'm 100% confident in that. I see, this community really coming together, and it's just getting through this, and what are the opportunities that this presents us. And Big Sky, gosh, thank God I live here. That's all I say every day. I couldn't think of a better place to be going through this in the world, and I just feel very fortunate to be living here in Big Sky. And I think that will pay dividends down the road. I mean, what a great place to live. What an incredible place to be raising our kids. And yeah, Big Sky is going to come out of this stronger than ever. 100% confident.
Thank you, Kevin. Really appreciate your time away from your work, your family. I've known you for many years, but I feel like this conversation has opened up new doors of enlightenment or wisdom for me and hopefully for our audience. I don't get political on this show, but for this one time, I'm going to give one of those commercial PSA things. I give my full endorsement to Kevin Germain on the Big Sky Resort Tax Board. The voting is coming up on May 5th. I believe the ballots were sent out today. They should be in your mailbox by Monday. Folks, excuse to get outside and go visit the post office. Make sure you wear your masks and gloves and all that jazz. And go get your ballots. There's a couple things that have, direct interest to me, and that is the members running for different various board positions who are going to, help this community get through this, and a bond that sounds for our school that sounds like terrible timing maybe, but if you've noticed, our school has been committed to our students nearly 48 hours after our state shut down, and that's not going to stop. And we are out there to support the community and our students. And so there's a couple votes on there. Whether you vote yes or no, that is completely up to you, audience, but please at least use your voice, because now more than ever, your voice is important. So look for those ballots in your mailboxes next week. Get your black ink pen and vote before May 5th, I believe. And thank you, Kevin Germain. I appreciate your time. Great conversations we had, and I hope you had fun.
Mr. Harder, thank you very much. I just, and thanks to all your listeners. It's you, it's everybody listening. Everybody gets involved in this community, and I appreciate your endorsement. I just encourage everybody to vote. We live in a community where you can't say my vote doesn't count. It does count. So get out and vote, do your part, and please get involved. Everybody is. Our community is awesome. This too shall pass. We're going to come out of this stronger than ever. And it's because of everybody listening in to this. We got a great community. Thank you.
Thank you. Signing off.